If you haven't heard of Timber Festival before, which is quite likely as it's only its second year, it in a nutshell is a family festival for nature lovers, daydreamers and big thinkers where we celebrated the National Forest through workshops, music, art, stories, do not underestimate the stories, and performance. It is a 3-day festival from Friday to Sunday, however we arrived on the Saturday and stayed until Sunday. So here's a map of the festival. From camping to Carbordia, it was probably just a 10-minute walk, so when they say family friendly, they really mean it. It's all so contained, but it doesn't feel small. So from camping, you walk up to As the Crow Flies, where you are instantly met with Rosie's, which we visited a few times in our 2 days. They had sweet and savoury crepes, freshly squeezed lemonade, along with teas and coffees. In this area, you can walk around various stands for nature talks and charity pop-up type places. When you carry on around the trees, you can find little fairy houses hidden in the bottom of the tree trunks, little doors, little not-so woodland creatures who had found their place in the forest. Bella's favourite was this little pig. There was also a twisted marble run. The noise was so satisfying, it was hypnotic to watch the marbles run down. This wood structure was a place where children and adults could add their little part to the festival. We could saw and hammer parts to the frame and add materials however we saw fit, so of course we added our little section. For us, the most memorable part of As the Crow Flies had to be the storytelling. They were brilliant, so engaging and so welcoming for the children and the adults alike. We felt like part of something when listening to stories around the campfire. Once you've managed to pull yourself away from the stories in As the Crow Flies, you come down the hill and find yourself in field notes. This was a big stage with talks, nature writing and cutting edge ideas. We didn't spend much time here as we were being pulled to the next section by Bella's 11-year-old sister, but the audience was always packed and so I imagine that people enjoyed being there. The reason we were being directed to Halcyon Days, I hope I'm saying that right, which is next if you carry on past field notes, is because this section had a lot going on, from circus skills to puppet shows, unique performances. A few drink and food stands, and where we spent a lot of our time, giant woodland games. Our particular favourite was this giant Guess Who, but there was also ping pong and giant Scrabble to name a couple. So going back on yourself to go past field notes and into the common was the perfect place to grab your lunch or dinner as well as attend workshops. A lot of the food stands took card, which was really appreciated, but on that note there was also a cash machine in As the Crow Flies, so not to panic if you wanted a jacket potato. For research purposes we tried a pizza, a hot dog and some cheesy chips and found the results to be very good actually. As we were there with Bella's dad who was performing, we also ate a couple of our meals in the performers tent, but all of the food looked amazing and there was so much choice. After this field was Elemental, which we only went to once, and this was to do the timber maze. They also played films here in the evening, such as the Blair Witch Project, which would have been really great. The part of Elemental that I liked the most was this willow structure with words from people attending the festival, such as be kind, hanging and moving in the wind. Then the relaxing Shive light comes. Down its own little path was this section for wellness. There were wellness workshops like yoga, laughing yoga and tai chi, as well as hot tubs, Velada's nice cream van where you could get hand massage, and an array of books you could swap or borrow and take to a hammock for some downtime. Again, being with a child didn't allow for much downtime, but we could really appreciate being there. A short but beautiful walk through the woods from Shively would find you at Cardboardia. This was a fun section where at certain times of the day you could go and make something for you to take around the Cardboardia parade. Getting back on the same path, you find yourself at the Erie stage where music was played and spoken words were spoken. We saw lots of different artists in passing, and although the music wasn't our thing, we could see others enjoying this beautiful and unique stage all day. In the evening it was especially magical and definitely added to the festival vibe of the place. When you follow the path even further, past the Erie stage, you would find yourself at the Canopy. For us, this is the main reason we went to the Timber Festival, to see Lost in Translation put on their show of The Baron in the Trees. All around the festival, this was one of the big events that people wouldn't want to miss and ended up seeing 2 or 3 times over the weekend, and we were no exception. It was really refreshing to be outside watching incredible performers, and as the name of the show suggests, this really was the perfect setting for it. Children and adults alike were both left amazed and impressed. It was also great that we could get out of the sun for a while whilst being in the shade of the trees. Along this path was also a bunch more workshops, maybe more mature at these spots, such as chair making and using a shaving horse. Talking of horses, as you come out of the woods, you could see a horse box, and if you were lucky, or when at the time it says on the programme, the horse was outside. You could brush the horse and speak to the owners about what they did with the horses. They were fascinating people who were clearly really passionate and knowledgeable about their craft and were so happy to share it with you. When we were there, I was able to help tack up the horse ready for a demonstration on log pulling. I felt really included and did come away with more understanding, which is what you want from an experience like this. So both days we potted around, catching odd bits and bobs. You could be as organised or as casual as you like really, always catching something interesting on the way through to something else. On the Saturday evening, we went back up to As the Crow Flies to see the Shadow Lanterns and an African band playing around the campfire. They played so beautifully, letting us join in, singing and dancing and sharing their music with us. We just had time before heading down to the camp to catch one last story, which we're so glad we didn't miss.
Cottage, real proper bow. And in that crib lived an old wood puncher. He could make a chair, he could make a hutch. Yeah! That's called cutting a shape.
All of this really is just scratching the surface of what was available to explore at Timber Festival. From arts and crafts to bird watching, from nature talks to dancing workshops. You could never be bored at Timber Festival.